Hello. I've made this kind of video a few times now, but I'm trying to hold myself accountable again. You know, never the worst thing to get back on a horse after you've fallen down, right? So this video and subsequent videos, I hope, has no script, it has no planning, and overall is a pretty shitty video. In that regard, I am just making it because I want to document how I might be able to get from one place to another in life. So let's start with where I'm at right now. I am 22 years old. I just graduated college with a bachelor's in computer science, and I'm really lost. Um, it's always been kind of my plan to get a good job and to really focus up and kind of like make something of myself by the end of college, but things just didn't end up that way. And I can attribute it to maybe like a lot of different moments in my life, but it doesn't really help to figure out why I got here, because it would honestly take too long to explain. But what matters now is how I move forward, right? So, here's the thing. I want to work at Google, and that's kind of a big, like really presumptuous thing to just say out loud. Um, you know, it's the pinnacle for a lot of computer science students to work at like a big FANG company like that. And, you know, I want to kind of prove something. I want to do it. Like, I want to be able to kind of do it. And I think one of my biggest issues for the longest time has been my confidence in myself and my confidence in my abilities and being unsure as to what I'm actually capable of. Because, I just don't have that much proof that I can do things well. And that sounds sad when I say it out loud, but I don't mean it to be sad. I just kind of mean it as like a proof of concept, or not a proof of concept, as like a just general statement. I think I'm what many people would call a jack of all trades. I have participated in a lot of hobbies in my life, and still do, like, have a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests, but I never really picked one of them and kind of like pushed it to the limit's edge to see where I could get with it. Academically, I was always pretty like middle of the pack. Maybe I did well if I had a good year or something, but I was always pretty middle of the pack. For art, I never submitted to any competitions or anything like that. For music and piano, I never really cared to. Well, I didn't really like music, so that doesn't really count. But for art and anything like that, I never really submitted to any real um, contests or really got my name out there or applied to art schools. For college, too, I still kind of like was just in the middle of the pack when it came to a lot of academic related stuff. And in terms of projects that I've made for myself, I've done like a few that I was proud of back in like high school. I think making like a choose your own adventure game was pretty fun, but I never really did anything beyond that. And I kind of feel like dull, you know? Like, I don't know. I play volleyball. That I promise this is related. I play volleyball, and I've recently been getting way more into the aspect of it where you kind of put in the hours outside of the court, where like you're not playing every day, but you're watching film and you're going to the gym and you're working out. And yeah, I'm not going to be a great volleyball player, but it just felt really good to kind of like have a reason to like drag myself out of bed in the morning and go do something. And my biggest problem now is like, oh, I get home and I really don't know what I want to do with my time. You know, I kind of just end up doom scrolling on TikTok, or maybe playing a video game, or talking to friends until it's late enough to go to bed. And that's like that's really scary, I think, cuz I don't want to just, you know, live life in a way where it just passes me by. And it's not like I haven't been trying these past few weeks. I think I definitely still have been trying to figure out my own way. Got advice from a lot of friends, and you know, got recommended to certain kind of paths that I can take and stuff like that. And it's been interesting, trying to figure out everything. But I never really had a defined goal, and I think now it's it's better late than never to have a goal, which is to work at Google. Mainly, specifically, their New York headquarters, just because more of my friends are on the East Coast. Although I have some great friends on the West Coast, it's just like my support system is much wider reaching here, or a lot stronger of a web. Like, I wouldn't have to rely on like one or two people. But yeah, New York offices, Google, um, but I need a plan, and I need to work hard to make it. Realistically speaking, I am on the really low percentile of prospects for Google. I think I'm pretty smart. Maybe not the smartest cookie in the room. I don't think I could write my own math theorems, although I'm down to try. That's really presumptuous of me to say, I'm sure. But I am confident-ish in certain abilities that I have, but I don't have that much experience. Um, I really spent a lot of my college years kind of more in the social aspect, which has helped me in certain ways, but definitely has not helped me in looking for a job. So here's the plan. Um, right now, I am a new grad that is figuring out his way in life, as I've talked about. I have a few options. I can look for an internship, although, you know, I'm not in college anymore, so it would really just be looking for any kind of job opportunity to build experience. Or I could really polish my resume with what I can do. For example, make like a really big project or something like that, maybe something that takes me months to do. Um, or I can do research, which would be the most ideal. However, I'm not really good at the whole cold calling thing, for emailing professors and putting myself out there. So we're going to try to work on, I want to say all three, but realistically I'm probably going to shift more towards one than another. Um, for jobs, I think it's just shotgun effect, you know, just make a resume and throw it out there. Maybe polish some things up on the resume. I think my resume looks okay. I just, again, like, the biggest problem is I have projects, and then I have, um, like, skills, and that's really it. I mean, I have a summary on top, but, like, that can change for whatever job that I'm applying to. But that's, like, the main two things, and the big thing that's missing is experiences. So I think I really have to kind of sell my projects, which leads into the next thing that I think I should mainly focus on, which is just, generally speaking, a really large, like, framed project for employers or prospective anybody's to kind of take a look at. Um, and and yeah, I hope, like, my interview skills will be able to carry me through to the next stage of that. But right now, I'm in a good spot. I'm not really pressed financially. I'm very lucky. And so I'm just going to try to find my way through this. I want to video this every day because I want to hold myself accountable. This is this is me trying to hold myself accountable. Because if I'm not able to at least fill up 10 minutes with talking about like maybe what I did the past week or something like that, then I don't really think I'm doing enough. So maybe I won't like do this every day because I think that can get pretty exhausting. But if I'm not at least able to make a video every week that's 10 minutes long about what I've been doing and how I've been doing it, I think that's a good indicator that I'm not doing enough. Like, this should be tangible. This should be measurable. Because if it's not, then I'm going to really fall by the wayside. So, okay, this is kind of like becoming more clear to me the more that I talk. I need clear goals. Becoming a Google developer is a clear enough goal, and then there's a lot of sub goals that come with it that are clear enough. Either I can apply to more jobs, make a better project / learn more, or I can polish my resume. You know, those are pretty tangible. What was I thinking? No, I was just I was just saying something. Okay, so 10 minutes every week. Crap. What was I thinking about? I think that having tangible goals is important here. Yeah, and this should be measurable. This should be measurable, at least in the sense where I know how it feels when I'm able to talk freely and I'm not repeating myself over and over again. Um, I'm going to try not to be too hard on myself either. I think a really big contention point is the fact that because I have like such sometimes issues with confidence, it's very easy for me to be hard on myself and get very stressed. And whenever I'm incredibly stressed and I'm not able to manage it, it's very hard for me to do anything. I might still be able to do it, but I think my quality of work tends to be a lot better whenever I feel like I'm more in control. And the best way for me to feel like I'm in control is to kind of take a deep breath. So, yeah, tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything tonight. Oh, there's a moth in my room. Interesting. I started working on this machine learning project. What I'm currently doing is it's gotten to the stage where I can put any number of files into a raw folder, or like a folder that holds all the raw CSV files, and then it automatically pre-processes it to normalize all numerical values and categorize any other categorical values into binary attributes. So like if it has four distinct like types, say like red, green, blue, yellow, it will just categorize them into whether or not that entry is red or green or blue or yellow as a binary value by adding a new column. It makes the overall like model building for a machine learning project a lot easier, and the overall goal is to reduce the amount of time needed to process data before throwing it to a model to kind of create, or before throwing it to an algorithm to create a model for predictive analysis and stuff like that. It makes my life a lot easier because whenever I want to make any kind of predictive algorithm, it makes the data like a lot more readable for the computer without me having to do too much to it. And it's working pretty well. I think one feature that I want is what I'm finding to be really difficult is the idea originally for the raw data folder was that you could put any relevant CSV files in it and it would be able to merge them into a really robust data set. But I found the biggest issue is missing columns, or sorry, not missing columns, but missing rows and missing information that would show up between CSV files that did not have any like real, like not any real like correlation between them, which just means like the columns have different names and I have no way to guarantee to the machine that those columns relate to each other genuinely. Um, and so I think I have to scrap that in favor of just making it so that it can parse one file really well. Because it's just, for me, I can't figure out the math behind it right now. Where correlation values are understandable because you already have the understanding. Sorry, that sounded really stupid. You have like the knowledge beforehand that these two, attributes relate to each other some way. But if I have two separate CSV files, I have no way of actually, like understanding that between two separate CSV files. I have no way of guaranteeing it. And making a prediction on whether or not it is or is not similar to each other based on correlation, like there's no real way I can do it, because I would just get a lot of like maybe false positives or false negatives or complete negatives, and it would just be like a huge hodgepodge mess that I think would take me way too long to debug for a prototype version that probably would not function that well either. Statistical analysis has never been really my strong suit. I'm trying to make it my strong suit, but I've always been a bit better at derivations and theoretical evaluations of algorithms. So, not really the greatest at like statistical analysis. But we'll see where I get by the end of this. But that's my project right now, is kind of like a pipeline for anybody to use if they wanted to create a quick like model of any kind of data set that they have. It's very similar to like kind of what Excel has with the, what do you call it, with the, just like if you were to put data into a table and then have it predict a function using it. It's kind of similar to that if I were to use a regression model, but I'm trying to have it like make decisions. So if it is one way or another, it should be able to spit out kind of like either a numerical value or a general prediction. And I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. It's already like a function and a lot of other things. I think after that, the goal is to kind of maybe make like a large language model. Although honestly, large language models kind of bore me. Not like in the math behind it, but just like it's so overdone now, and I don't know. Maybe I'll make one still, just because I mean it could be fun, and maybe I'm just being a prude about it. But yeah, that's the thing. I still need to finish setting up my machine. I just switched machines to a Linux distribution to make like programming in C easier. Um, I'm using Python right now, so that's not super important. But now that I have my new machine, I do need to set it up. Um, and I'm looking forward to actually programming in C. I want to make my own router. I don't know. Uh, I'm not really good at signals processing just yet, but I'll figure it out. Figure it out. This is day 1, I guess. So, should be fun. I look forward to making more vlogs about this, and I'm looking forward to see how my hair continues to thin over time.